Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Here we are. We are next episode of the Tulsa Life podcast with the beautiful, lovely Shauna Estes Stewart.
Yes, Shauna Estes, the bestest Stewart.
See, we were just talking about this and how I knew you as Shauna Estes. Mm-hmm. And then it's always so hard, like even when you're on Facebook and you see maiden names, and I still have like these like brain lapses sometimes when I want to call somebody like their maiden name.
Yes.
So guys don't have this problem.
No, because they don't have to go through the trouble of changing their name when they get married.
They should be so grateful to us.
World, you can keep your old last name.
It's true. Or you can hyphenate it, or you can do both like you do. Yeah. I'm just Erin Catron, plain old Erin Catron.
Legally, I'm Shauna Stewart, but for the world that we work in, I'm Shauna Estes Stewart. So and I don't want to lose my credibility.
You haven't been married very long.
Just 3 years.
Yeah, 3?
3 years, 1 million kids, few dogs.
Not a million kids in 3 years. You kind of married into the million kid thing.
Oh, yeah. 13 kids. I married into 13 kids.
We should just have a whole podcast episode just on that alone.
About how crazy you have to be to marry a man who has all these beautiful babies.
That's amazing. Okay, well, Shauna, for those of you who do not know, you're missing out if you don't know Shauna, but Shauna is with Apex Title.
Yes, ma'am.
And Apex Title is our go-to everything title needs.
Yes, ma'am.
Here in not just the Tulsa area,
all over.
Everywhere.
We are growing exponentially. We are in Missouri. We're in Arkansas.
Florida,
and we're branching into Kansas.
That is amazing.
And I think there's a few more others on the horizon, but that's all hush-hush until then.
Okay, so we're not doing any unveiling today.
No,
we don't have any.
Not my privilege or honor to do.
Okay, all right, Damon, it's fine. We won't give anything away. It's kind of like when you're, interviewing movie stars, which I do all the time.
Yes,
I interview a lot of movie stars, and they can't give away the big secrets in their movies. Or
that's right.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't interview a lot of movie stars, but if I did, I would definitely ask them all the secrets.
Oh, I would too. And I'd be like, can you tell me the plot? Can you tell me off camera so I can really understand what's going to happen?
Right.
Especially if it's a movie series, because, I get engrossed in those very easily.
I always want to know what's going to happen next season.
Yes.
Like, what's happening with so-and-so?
Well, like Blacklist, that movie or that show on NBC is going to be coming out, and I've watched all 9 seasons.
Have you really?
Yeah, because I need to know what happens next, and so...
That's a good show.
It is a very good show. It's very suspenseful.
I haven't watched it in a while, but I watched it when it was on actual TV.
Oh, I don't have time for that.
I don't either. I don't know the last time that other than March Madness and watching live sports, man, I've gotten so bad about watching actual real TV.
I don't think I've actually watched real TV in years because I need everything to be at my fingertips and convenient for me.
And I don't have time for the commercials. Mm-mm. And I'm a marketer and you're a marketer. Mm-hmm. And we should know that marketing is so important that we shouldn't be, looking over all of that. But it just goes to show you that your audience and knowing your audience.
Absolutely.
And making sure that you're putting your marketing dollars in the right place,
every
is super
time.
Important.
Very important.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about, other than having 13 kids that you married into and being married for 3 years, tell us a little bit about what do you do at Apex?
That is a very big question and a very small question all in one. I do a lot of things. I help plan educational events. I plan events for community. We're very big about community at Apex, not only just giving excellent customer service to all of our clientele, but also providing options for them for their continuing education, for just good informational classes. And then, of course, this Wednesday, we've got a game night coming up, and that's going to be so much fun. I help,
and that's for agents. That's for real estate agents.
All agents. We've got trivia nights coming up. So the marketing team and we are working diligently on having really great content to deliver to every agent, because there's different variances. One thing that might be important to you may not be important to the next person. So we've tried to put a really good mix of information out there for people to come.
Which you guys do a great job at that. So
thank you.
Let's back up even a little bit more for our listeners that, don't know Apex, don't know what Apex does. How does that, kind of come together with us and our partnership and our, the way that we do business together? Tell us a little bit of kind of why do you need a title company, especially in the state of Oklahoma, when you're buying a house, selling a house, and kind of that role that you play? Because I think people think about buying and selling homes, and you think you sign a contract, and then next thing you know, somebody's giving you money, and you're giving them a deed and then it's done, but it's not that easy.
Well, I think a lot of people think that a title company or even getting a mortgage is kind of like buying a car. You go to a bank, you get the money, you get approved, and voila, you have this new car. You can
And you
drop
take
off
it
the
home
lot.
that day. Yeah.
Well, it's not that simple when it comes to a mortgage. You need a title company for checks and balances to make sure that everybody's got everything done right, because you don't want something to happen to where someone didn't do their due diligence and then someone can say, hey, I actually own that home. Well, no, you don't. I bought it. No, actually, I have it, and here's the proof. The beautiful thing about a title company is we do a checks and balances. We have so many attorneys that are on staff to make sure that when you get to the table to sign your documents when purchasing a home or selling a home, that everything is done, that we've made sure that there's no major issues, that you're ready to roll out the door.
So let's unpack that a little bit,
Okay.
because I think it is such a misconception. And I love that analogy of, like, about the car, like going to buy a car, because I think that's what people expect. And then it's a whole lot more than what they expect. And then it's when you don't set those expectations up in the beginning and you're not ready for that, you're like, hey, I didn't know it was going to be all of this. But your home is normally the biggest investment that you make in your life. And so buying property and making sure that you own that property and that nobody else has rights to that property is super important. So what the title company does, and your role and Apex's role really, is to make sure that when somebody is purchasing that, you're going to go back over the history of that property and say,
kind of like a Carfax.
It is. It's a little bit like a Carfax. It's going to give you the history of that house, of that land, of everything that has to do with that property, what's on it, what's not on it, what's included when you're purchasing, and then also protecting you from any claims against it in the future that might have happened before you owned it.
Absolutely.
So, an example that I always like to say is when people are asking about, there's things called title insurance. Title insurance is exactly that. You're protecting and insuring the title and your claim to that property. So I'm buying a house, I close on my house, and the next thing I know, somebody comes knocking on my door and says, hey, the people that own this house, before you never paid me to do work. And I actually came out and did all kinds of work on this house. And here's all the invoices that I have. And now because you own this property, you owe me. And so this title insurance and the policy that you have basically protects you against any of those claims. And so if there were claims that were legitimate, they would have had to been filed against that house.
Correct.
And Apex would find those. And they would say, hey, before we let somebody buy this home, we need to make sure that you're aware that there are claims on this house.
That there are any issues or liens or anything, so that way everything can get resolved prior to signing at the table.
Yes. And then the other thing is that just like any good insurer, nobody wants to have claims.
Absolutely.
So the great news is that you work really hard to fight off any of those, like, possibilities that somebody could have a claim to that property. And hopefully you would never miss anything, but it could happen. If there was something that was missed, the owner would have a title policy that would protect them. So that's really kind of the easy version of saying, what is done. And that is a process, because obviously you're going back over that whole history of that property.
Well, and even work that other companies have done. If that property's been bought and sold a few times, we still double check as best as we can, because we don't want the liability. We don't want to miss something.
Right.
And so Apex has phenomenal teams that really do a lot of due diligence, and they are investigators by far.
Yeah, they are awesome.
Yeah.
And I love it too, because, our clients get the benefit of working with Apex, and they have a team of people that really, most of our clients never, ever even know they're doing all this work.
Right.
And that's how we want it.
Absolutely.
We want to get all of this work done and all of this due diligence taken care of, all of the protection that we can have for them in place. And then at the end of the day, they come and they sign papers with a policy that says your house is protected or your property is protected, and we've done our due diligence. And I think that most people are just like, oh, okay, that took a couple of weeks, but okay, that was great. And that's what we want. We want to partner with people who make it easy for clients.
Absolutely.
But also give us the peace of mind knowing that we're not going to have problems.
Well, and I'd like to think it's an experience when you close at Apex. It's not just walking into some small room with no windows and a table
it is
and
an
chairs.
experience.
I mean, our owners, Damon and Lindsay, have gone far above and beyond to make sure that when a client walks into the office, they're like visually stimulated. We have such beautiful furnitures and furnishings. And then you can get a custom handcraft latte.
Which is best in town.
I happen to think so.
I definitely think so. If they were open a little bit early, because I get into the office too early to be able to stop on my way, but they're probably grateful for that because I would be stopping every single day to get coffee.
We would welcome you every time.
I know you would. And Lindsay is always like, can I make you a chai tea? Can I make you, and I'm like, can I make you a latte? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you remember exactly what I want?
She's just very good at that.
She is. She's really good at that. So no, it is an experience.
About making sure that we have all the right people in the right place to do the right things.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
It is a really great experience. So talking about having right people in the right place, obviously all those things that we talked about are not the things that you do at Apex, even though you have a great understanding of those things. But in my opinion, what you do is a lot more fun.
Oh, what I do is a lot more fun. It's like dating 400 people and making sure that everyone is accommodated. I can't say that I'm perfect.
I don't know if anybody thinks that sounds like fun.
But just making sure that people are taken care of. One of the things that I had 17 years of insurance experience is customer service. Literally, I grew up with customer service. My dad taught me about sales and customer service my whole life. So trying to take care of people and make sure that they're really having an excellent experience is really top priority for me. And I feel like I do a good job at it.
You do a great job.
Well, thank you.
So your relationship that you have with us and that you have with a lot of other, teams, brokerages, and agents, you really, in my opinion, are business development. And so, for our listeners out there, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a real estate professional, or even if you're just somebody who might buy and sell a home, what you do is you are going to show people why the value is there to use Apex.
Yes, ma'am. And
what I love is that our team loves Apex. So, whenever our clients ask for recommendations on who do we use for title, it's hands down easy decision to recommend you guys. And we love that. And what you have done is you've built a great relationship too here in our office that goes beyond just for our agents, but also for our clients. And I think that what Apex has done and what you have been, at the forefront of this is that you have made all of these relationships just come together so beautifully where people, they have great feelings about who they're working with. They have great feelings about their real estate professional. They have great feelings about their mortgage lender. They have really, really just this whole symphony of everybody working together. And it starts with you having these great relationships with all of the people. And so you do a fantastic job. So I think one of the things that we really wanted to pick your brain about today because of what you do, and this is not just about Apex, but anybody could utilize this information, is networking. And out of all the people I know, you're one of the best networkers that I know.
Well, thanks.
And I know a lot of people.
You do know a lot of people, Ms. Aaron.
That's a really high compliment. And some of the things that that you really feel like are important in networking from outside perspective is that I really feel like you are intentional with people. Yes, and I think at the end of the day, a great networker cares about people. So tell us some of the things that you do on a daily or the things that are just kind of first and foremost in your mind that you go, these are the things that I try to focus on, that maybe a listener could take away and go, man, I could apply this in my business. I could apply this in my life.
Well, essentially in business development, it is a sales job. My job is to tell you why you should come and do business with me and to do business with my company. And I think that I'm not a pressure person. I'm not going to say, well, you've got to come and do business with me, blah, blah, blah. When you make the decision that you want to do business with me and my company, I want you to be very happy about that choice. There's no pressure. It's not going to be like that. And if you decide that we're not the best fit for you, that's okay. But I'll circle back to you in about a year. I usually keep profile information on each person, and that's not intense or lengthy. It's just
creepy.
It's just some people like chai tea. Some people like coffee. Some people have a sick grandma. So when I have conversations, I take notes. So that way, the next time I talk to that person, I'm like, how's your grandmother doing? I know the last time we talked, she was sick. Is she okay? You have to care about people, and people can tell if you're fake about it, but I genuinely care about every person that I come in contact with.
So I would say for you, maybe your number one thing is human connection.
Absolutely.
So
making sure that people feel valued, that they don't feel used. I think sometimes people can feel that way in any role, and I think that it's so important that people know that you actually care about them. That it's not, at the end of the day, it's not always dollars and cents. For companies, it can be about dollars and cents, but for me and what I do with our company, I make sure that people do feel valued.
and I think you do a great job at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's what I would say is a number one takeaway is that there's that human component, the compassion. We call it in our office discovery.
Oh, I like that better.
And
Yeah,
so
discovery.
what we are always striving for is that discovery of why, how, when does this happen? Like, how do we help somebody? Why are they wanting to do something? If they're trying to sell a house, buy a house, really at the root of everything, it comes down to a need.
Yes.
And if we can connect to that need, and networking is just connecting.
It is, and just finding commonality in a conversation. I mean, in any relationship, when you first meet someone, you start talking about, well, I like coffee and I like this. And then you discover that there's something there that can be built upon. And that's really back to what I do is I look for those commonalities. How do you and I connect? How can we become friends from this conversation or do business from this conversation? How can I help you? And when you learn about someone just through simple conversations, you can find out that there's a lot of commonality between you.
So would you agree that most human beings are selfish in the sense of we're looking for a way to have our needs met? We're looking for a way to get validation.
Yes.
We are looking for ways to make, it seem like this makes things easier on me. Okay, so I would agree with all of those things. And that's not a negative thing. That's not a bad thing. It's just human nature. I mean, I think that there's a reason that we have cell phones. There's a reason that we have Starbucks apps. There's I use Starbucks. I don't even like Starbucks the best, but because they have made it so easy to order the same type of coffee every time and have it ready.
Consistency.
And it's so simple for me just to drive through and grab that. And it doesn't take any time. I don't have to wait in line. I don't have to wait for anybody. It is convenience, 100% convenience. Is the quality good enough? Yes. Is the convenience exceptional? Yes. And then so for all of us, we have this natural pool of what's most important to us. So I think in networking, it comes down to figuring out what is most important. For me, it might be efficiency.
Right.
It might be this is the least amount of time that I can spend on this that is not as important as something that I want to spend more time on here.
Right.
And so if we can identify the basic needs or the basic wants or desires of each person, then we can fill that need.
Yes.
And we can discover why or how we help them. And I think that in networking, that's all it comes down to. And I think what you've done too is you've created, and you said it in the very beginning of our conversation, is that you've created different types of activities, different types of things that you can, maybe market to people that might enjoy trivia,
right,
or they might enjoy education, or they might enjoy a happy hour. Those are three different things that I know that you do a great job of putting on and promoting. But the same person that comes to trivia may not be the same person that comes to the educational things.
Yes, ma'am.
And they want something more social. The happy hour people are way different than the ones that are coming and listening to the lectures. And, that is so important though, to identify who those different people are, what their needs are, how they really want to interact and respond, and then giving them that platform.
Yes.
So I think you've done a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Of being able to network and market, the company that you're working for, which is Apex. But I think if you're trying to project that or tell somebody else what to do, it's really just comes down to the basic needs and listening to people and what they want and need and connecting with them on a very personal level.
Very personal. Well, and the other part of what I do is I connect the real estate agent with a closer. So learning and understanding the real estate agent's personality and knowing my closers and knowing their personalities, that can help me to gauge who would be a best fit for each other, because closing can be difficult. And especially some of these agents, especially your team, you guys work with hundreds of people every week, every month, and making sure that you had the right closer was so important. And then when we got you paired with the right person, it made all the difference
Huge
for your
difference.
business.
Yes.
Because the communication that you needed was there. Everything that you needed step by step was met when we got you with the right person. And so that's
Absolutely.
one thing I really strive to do, is to make sure that each person that I meet with, I get to know them, understand their personality.
And then connect them.
That's right.
I love that. Well, okay, time flies.
Yes.
We're already done.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I
I told you it was going to go by fast. It was amazing. Are you kidding? It was us. We did a great job. No, but
Well,
we
it's
are
always fun working with
so appreciative of you coming on today and sharing a little
It's
bit.
my pleasure.
And networking is like a whole lot. It's like
It
this
is.
huge beast that you couldn't possibly in 20, 25 minutes get to the nuts and bolts of it. But
so much of it. But I would say anybody who's looking to network or expand their group of people, get into networking groups. There's a lot here in Tulsa. There's actually loads of them in Tulsa. One of them is Cinesphere, BNI groups. Those are fantastic. You can get out and meet so many different professionals in different avenues, and then just expand your networking group. Just go to any event. If you see an event that I've got, come on, let's go. It'll be fun. You can meet loads of different people. And I think just get out there and meet people, and your whole group will expand. And before you know it, you'll have 18,000 friends. It'll be fantastic.
there you go. And networking can start with just one simple step.
It is.
So find
and being
just
bold enough
one.
to say hi to somebody.
Yes.
Because you never know how you're going to meet someone. It's funny. I actually remember meeting this one specific person. No one was talking to them. I was like, well, I can go say hi. And that has actually turned into a really great relationship, business-wise and personally, just by saying hi.
Yeah. So put yourself out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Get connected. Find some networking groups or group. Start with one.
Start with one, because multiple can be a lot.
Yep. You don't want to date 400 people at one time.
Nope.
Not everybody can do that. Just Shauna. So I won't tell Jody.
Jody, yeah.
I was gonna say Jody, and then I
He
second
knows.
guess myself.
He knows. He's like, who are you texting? I'm like, it's one of my clients. And he's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It might be 9:00 at night, but I'm available to help people anytime.
Yes. Well, that's what happens when you're all the time dating.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks so much for
thank
coming
you for
on today,
letting me be here.
Shauna. And again, it's Shauna Stewart with Apex Title. And
Look me up on Facebook.
that's right. Find her. She's beautiful and amazing and talented and all the other things too. So thanks for coming on today.
Yes, ma'am. My pleasure.
All right. See you next time.